It was called Operation Iron Wall. According to a 105-page report from the Human Rights Watch called All My Dreams Have Been Erased, the Israeli military forcibly displaced around 32,000 residents from 3 refugee camps in the occupied West Bank, Jenin, Tulkarem and Nur Shams, in January and February this year.
We analyzed, videos and open source satellite imagery as well, and spoke to around 31 interviewees, residents of these refugee camps, who told us about the brutality of their displacement from the camps, what the Israeli ground forces were doing while they were forced to evacuate the camps, like already demolishing homes.
The rights group's investigation highlights that under the Geneva Convention, Israel, as the occupying power in the West Bank, cannot displace the population it is obliged to protect, except for exceptional circumstances. Any removal of civilians must be driven by imperative military necessity or be essential for their safety. Tel Aviv claimed its focus was to eradicate Palestinian armed groups in the area.
We left in fear. They took us to the entrance of the camp. The Israeli army was there and they checked our IDs. They told us to leave. They don't care about children, the elderly or women.
The warring party is required to provide civilians with access to food, water and adequate shelter, and to allow them to return home once the fighting ends.
We left our home with nothing on us, without shelter. We can't afford food, drink, medicine, and we can't keep up with the expenses.
But these same people have been stopped from returning home. The rights group found over 850 structures, homes and buildings have been destroyed or severely damaged.
I left, and 2-3 days later they said that they demolished the houses.
The report says that any displacement falling outside these conditions amounts to a breach of international law and is a war crime. The human rights group says the expulsions were carried out while global attention was fixed on Gaza, forming part of what it describes as crimes against humanity. It is urging governments to impose sanctions on those responsible and to support international criminal court warrants. Most Palestinians want to return and rebuild, but without global action on this report, that hope remains remote. Kristina Simich, TRT World.